focusing on primarily, right? We had a good game from Martin yesterday. Farlig as well really stepped up when they got into Nuke, a map that we're not going to be able to see come through in this one. But the similar kind of story goes over towards Big, because Searson had a dominant display when it came to that CT side AWPing. That was on Nuke as well. So we won't get that same level from them perhaps, but okay, straight into the pistol. Fast play from Zen. He spots a lot of presence out for Big to start through middle.
And well, Martin's the first one to take contact as he does get some blood spilled, but not life yet. Searson will find Zen in the meanwhile, and they continue fighting over. Zantares with a couple of missed shots, and it is going to be Stiko to fall. Zantares and Searson both define a CT apiece, leaving things in a 2 versus 4. Crystal has a kit, yes, but I hope maybe not.
Spamming at the close angle. He does actually allow a player through, so Madden catching a player out. Searson able to adapt in time. He's very threatened on the bomb site. Dancing with Crystal, back and forth they go, and eventually Crystal is dealt with. He brings it closer. Just the 2 players remain for Big, but Searson with a 4K in the pistol. Big start off well.
And Searson starts off well, which is what you really want. Yesterday, we saw Big being able to really dismantle phase on Mirage, at least on particular sides. I know it went to overtime, but on T side at the very least, Big were looking very, very strong. Even when it came to their CT side, sorry, on CT side rather, I lied. When it came to their CT side, they were able to take short control and ladder control very effectively and maintain a hold of it. And that would prevent a late A side hit, which was something FaZe was really prioritizing. Now, I'm not sure how GODSENT will want to play this, but so far, you know, it's just been the pistol run and whatnot. We'll have to wait to see how their rifles transpire.
No real room for errors. We also saw Big capitalize on mistakes in their previous Mirage matchup. Fell victim to a few mistakes of their own. That awkward spray where they're shooting at each other through the smoke is something that comes to mind. Hopefully the comms is cleared up. Yeah, the execute from Big now over towards A. Farlig spamming through the smoke, not going to find anything. Martin Molotov at his feet, and a bullet straight through his head. Keto finding a couple of entries. Nice ones at that for Big. Almost a just for Zen through the smoke, but a clean sight take that they'll be happy with. Keto even hunting for more. Catches another player out in the back. That's Zen gone.
Well, there you go. Not a single player lost so far, and I have a feeling Crystal might not be able to change it too much, although Zantares is slightly susceptible to this. He goes in, peeks forward. Zantares will find that kill. Big are up to nothing. Lots of money, lots of bonus rounds to be had. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where you start to wonder, at what point do we see GODSENT activate, and who is the activation going to be through? Because Zen and Seiko are their most consistent players. Yes, I think I'd hop on to death about that. But the X-Factor players are generally, for me, Zen, Martin, and Farlig. Farlig less often than not is able to take control the same way, and I think he's going to be a major factor going up in Searson. And the AWPing, like you mentioned, that matchup is going to be hugely influential. They start off this round, though, with a couple of CTs lost, and I mean, I don't think there's going to be any surprises over here. They don't really have any pistols bought up.
Searson, good timing on a kill in middle as well. Does get caught out, but is able to adjust for Martin as well. Seems like they'll maintain a bit of cleanliness here on this T side against the anti-eco. Stiko not going to get anything done with the P250. This singular Galil in Crystal's hands, could see him saving that into the follow-up round as well. It's not too different from an N4. Less accurate, sure. A bit more awkward to use. He's not even going to be given the chance to bring that forward. Big hunt and track him down. They actually don't opt to try and pick that Galil up either. Tapson was in a decent enough position to track that one down.
And with this, now we start to see our first gun round come through. AWP out for Farlig. No Molotov, but I don't think that matters too much. What really matters is the fact that only 2 of their players actually have flashbangs. Martin misses the jump early in. Nade goes out from Zen. Good tag damage. Could have been there, but Tabson's evaded most of it instead. It is just a little bit too late. Seiko, however, does catch us Searson in the back line. Crystal trying to spray through the smoke, find anything he can. Now he's starting to move faster. Crystal will intercept Tabson as he moved in. Keto and Tizian are both trying to kill a piece. It's a 3 versus 3. Plenty of smokes, plenty of utility for the CTs, but no kit, and that will be the difference maker.
Madden's on their heels though. Oh, he doesn't spot Zentares out. That's potentially dangerous because Zentares, he springs in, finds the kill, and there's the support as well from Kido. Sticko left alone, and Big clean it up. That flank from Madden could have been the difference. It could have allowed them a bit more room to work with, but Zentares was elusive and still able to find so much impact in the post plan.
And now we'll start to see how do GODSENT play from behind. This is something that's always a big question for me when you give a Big this many rounds on their terrorist side, which is generally their somewhat weaker side, although they are quite good on it. It's definitely where they are liable to sometimes being outgunned and outmatched, and that's what we saw versus Faceland for a while as well. Now, when all is said and done, Kido creeping through. Will want to start moving in. Sticko instead is getting antsy as he will move forward. Sticko will find the kill. Beautiful stuff. And with that, it's a 5 versus 4 and an AK recovered.
Still fancying a peek here in Madden. On the other side of the smoke, he's committed to right side window. Look at the aggression here from GODSENT. Denying space here for Big in the late round. They push much further. They might spot out the bombs, and Tara's eliminated as well. That's very threatening. Tabson. We saw some fantastic entries from him yesterday on Mirage, and that seems to be the case once again, but still in a deficit. 45 seconds left. Farley, that patience pays off. That committed position finds another, and Big under the microscope here. Now relocating back towards the A side of things. The bomb makes its way over. Searson, that long rotation. I don't think Tizian has time to wait this one out. Allow Searson to get into position. Zen on the site by himself.
2 versus 3, 20 seconds on the clock. Zen waiting for them to start creeping forward. Zen, however, is still brought down. Tizian do the job. Crystal just spraying out, hoping to find someone. They'll do what they can, but will it be enough?
Crystal trying to toy with the smoke. Tizian catches the timing. Madden. All that remains is a deagle in his hands. His angle at Tizian's in. He can jump up atop the boxes. Make sure to catch him off guard. There it is. He activates it, and he can get the defuse right under his nose. He has to threaten Searson's position, and that's beautiful from Madden. As soon as he taps it, Searson has to peek, and Madden catches him jumping. And a round one by GODSENT off the back of just pistols.
And it all starts with Sticko finding the initial kill. And Sticko's is one of those players who's so consistent now. You never traditionally thought of him as a fragger, but now he has shown that ability to do so. That veterancy, that individual prowess, not always there, but the veterancy is what allows him to really know when to go for peaks, when to start pushing forward, how to get those timings. And that's why you'll generally see him more in positions like, oh, you know, apartments in Inferno and Mirage, things like that. Plays them really, really well.
We'll see Zen take a different face. Through the middle, he'll go AWP in hand, and Tabson on the elevated angle. An additional step, they didn't have the coverage. Searson was holding for a peek. He can't prevent his teammate from going down. Does feel like GODSENT will have to work off of initiative-based information. If they can go a bit more aggressive, disrupt any sort of set plays that Big could implement into the late round, that's where they'll find the most level of success. A good way to start things off. Zen still holding top middle. Madden, the other side of connector, allows his escape. Does seem like they're setting up for the run boost. Yeah, Searson, oh, actually just peering into the connector, trying to get that elevated angle, catch them off guard. Now the run boost comes out. Big do have mid control as GODSENT have given it up.
Kido's positioning is going to be everything as Modern peeks forward. Modern, however, can't get the kill, but also doesn't get brought down by Kido. Small comforts that he isn't aware that he has been granted, but regardless, the information is incredibly important. You can see where the CT side are using their utility over towards short, and Tizian will find Modern in the meanwhile. Tizian. Oh, Zen's position. This is going to be big. He's landed the shot. Zentares will fall. And then now with the flashbang there, he's still going to be good for one. Sticko trying to give him some support, but he's a bit too far away and waits for the delayed peek instead. Will find the kill on the AK with it. The AWP might not be recoverable. Actually, barely just.
Yeah, the man's got long arms. Just able to get his midi hands on that. GODSENT, a couple of rounds. Seems good. The money for Big still alive. But it has run dry after this investment. So a lot more hinges on this one. This could allow GODSENT to tie the game up should they see success. And then they're posturing up for B. Farlig, though, in through middle. Tabson taken out early. This will prompt the B push. Keto trying to cross that distance, create some space for the side. Oh, backstab there with the Tech 9, but it's an awkward one. Then on the site, but it's only the tag. I thought that should have been a kill, but it clips him just around the bench, and so GODSENT have lost the sight. A man down.
There's the end. Well, let's call it Martin Stico to get another one as well. And now in 3v1, Farlig has no choice but to save. Big have given GODSENT a round here or there, but still very much their game, and they are in the driver's seat. And you start to wonder, how are GODSENT going to respond? Because so much of this series is going to come down, for GODSENT at least, to how they perform in Mirage. Because for me, Farlig is the ultimate example of a guy who needs confidence to up. You know, Farlig is the guy who, if he's feeling happy about himself, if he's feeling like he can go for a couple of wider peaks, some re-peaks, or maybe even hold a hairline angle that is an off angle, which is slightly riskier, yeah, I give him that 100%. Then he's an upper who I rate very highly. Otherwise, if it's the alternative Farlig, who's much more timid, who's much more liable to being caught off guard, it's not a Farlig I'm happy to see, and that is not a Farlig who will be able to carry you through a series versus a better team who has a very capable opera. Better on paper, at least.
Yeah, things have looked a little better for GODSENT as of late in terms of getting Farlig to be a bit more consistent, a bit more vocal, I think is the big thing. Dictating how he wants to approach some of these angles, because that's been a point of criticism before. They don't really accommodate the AWP presence of Farlig all too much, just allowing him to work however he so chooses. Can be quite passive. Flash play in for Tizian. Stico up close behind the smoke with the MP9. There's the ability to upgrade as well, but Zentara is watching above with just a small angle above the smoke. Could have been his undoing. And Keto getting spotted at B as well.
Yeah, has a big kill for Farlig to find, but Crystal is the trade, and that will make things a bit more difficult. Smokes and flashes all flying through to allow Martin to perhaps even push forward, but that smoke seems to be kind of working out in the favor of the T side. Maybe just with how far out it is, they can use it to push in, but Zen's been caught out. Zen, however, still turns around, gets the kill somehow on 4 HP. Leaving Sersen a very lonely fellow. And it all, again, comes off of Stico's play inside a main, where he's so capable of dismantling these players. Now, Sersen has found another, but unfortunately, that'll be all he gets.
Yeah, the nade is a parting gift, but it's still a GODSENT round. These more aggressive angles on that CT side, harder to deal with here for Big. And although Keto got so much room, Farlig making it difficult. Zen as well containing them, making sure that the apartments, that crossfire that can be held from that CT side, as they only had short to move through. The rounds for GODSENT have looked good. The ideas are nice. The ability to string those together successfully has still been evasive.
Well, this is where we start to see whether or not it can now come together. Remember, this is a big round for GODSENT, with the German side not having money. They could still sneak one away. We saw a couple of clutches here and there versus FaZe yesterday as well, where Zentaris on the Deagle can be fantastic. And you start to wonder what could go wrong, and the answer is very often everything. Martin, however, will prevent that initially. 2 quick kills come through, bomb also taken away, and with that, the round chances should go to the favor of GODSENT. However, Zentaris, again, he is the one that we have an eye out on, waiting for the peak to come in his way, but Tizian's found some space and ground towards the bomb site. Martin trading some fire that perhaps he didn't want to, but it's far late to fall, and now suddenly a 3v2. Martin's caught off another one. And how can they get this done?
Oh, the deke from Zentaris. Stico now pressured from both sides. He knows where one player is, knows Tizian was lurking around that B bomb site. Zentari is decapitated. Stiko adjusting, but Tizian is there to trade things out. It's a 1 round for Big. It's close. It seemed to have the advantages going the way of GODSENT, but just that overcommitment, that wide swing from Farlig, it's a misstep.
And that is the 1 round you can't afford to give away if you are GODSENT. Like I said before, it all comes down to whether or not you can clean up the easy ones, not the difficult ones. You know you've got some fantastic players in Stiko, Zen, and Martin who can always clutch a round out. Who could always give you a great chance, but when it's easy, that's when they sometimes let their foot off the gas just a bit too much. Martin, well, now he is gassing them up. Found himself 1 and the second right through the smoke. And he will be able to connect with those shots. Sersen is good for the reface, but it is still a 4 versus 3 in the CTs. Now starting to creep through. Stiko to intercept. Tizian will go down. Beautiful stuff, and the AK's picked up. 4 versus 2, and GODSENT are about to dish some of that force by eco goodness to Big right back.
Yeah, having the bomb, they can lean more the direction of a Searson. Up close with Centauri. Stiko still watching it like a hawk. That hairline angle. He doesn't have armor, so he has to back himself away. Could have transferred a weapon over, but Crystal will take up his post. He hears them backing off, so they should have the ability to read into the positions here from Big. Crystal still pushing from behind. They're trying to go back towards B. He finds the timing. The backstab lined up. Searson tapped down by the Deeg. Zentari is sure he recovers the bomb, has some information where Crystal is, but he just has nowhere to go. See if he can hold on to this AWP at the very least. 12 seconds left, so a round win not possible. This is a guaranteed 4th here for GODSENT, and their money is still yet to really stabilize, so hunting to aggressively could lead to more susceptible rounds in the future. I like the choice here, but the mid-round decision-making there from GODSENT when they had the limited investment coming into the round, recognizing what space was available for Big and what the gaps might have been in their default, very, very strong. You see Stiko leading the helm on that one.
I mean, we still have Big in a position where they can still squeeze a round out. After that Eagle round, you know everything is possible. And these next few rounds, this is what really decides the fate of the first half. GODSENT can still take this to a 9-6, but similarly, Big can get to double digits. Neither one of these teams have money. Neither one of these teams have a loss bonus either. So we're in such an awkward position on either side. Stiko has been stellar so far.
Alice again.
Yeah, that's always been the source Tom. Big have been putting so much emphasis on the mid control. And I don't know if GODSENT's come into this with the homework done, but I have to say, it's probably what is the case. Farley's got all the information in the world, and with the smoke going out towards mid, you know that this means that, you know, Crystal can start aggressing forward if he wants to. But more importantly, Zen needs to start coming to short to support Stiko, but Zen is too afraid to push forward, and with that, Stiko has gone down. Zen knows that they are starting to come over to him. Farlig is not in a position where he can rotate. Zen and Crystal have to do everything, and Zen's found the first, and with it, the bomb goes as well. Flashbang over and under, but it's not going to be enough. He's caught off in the animation after throwing it, and it's now a 2v3. Neither one of these players being particularly well-positioned, or at least healthy in the case of Martin. He needs to land some quick headshots because Sersen, well, he's at least somewhat liable to being brought down by Farlig, but Farlig has not been given the chance to go for it. And with this, man, I'm very shocked that Stiko is actually going down there when they have full information of presence inside middle, and Crystal is positioned in a way so he would know if they are deep into B apartments at the very least. So when that comes through, Stiko exposes himself to get information, but there's no one to play off of that angle. So even if Stiko, you know, wins that duel, there's probably going to be another person from Bake to come in and trade. Zen's so far back at that point because there might be some miscommunication, or I don't really know what is exactly going on, but Zen is so far back at that point that under no circumstances can he actually help or trade or do anything about Stiko's position.
Yeah, they had so much information as this round was starting off, but just no kills to back it up. Tizian was the one that started and got that ball rolling. Like you said, maybe questionable faces there from Stiko, given the information they had available to them. Again, they'll go towards Palace. This time it's a damage exchange. Farley down to 6 HP. Zantara is getting off a little bit more unfazed. Only 67 remaining. I'll see the Molotovs committed out. Keto looking to be the entry man for Big. Crystal underneath the window, so this is still dangerous. The Zeus, oh, he misses. Oh, that's awkward. The spray is not pretty either. They do take the site. It's a labored endeavor. Martin on the flank, though, still keeps things minorly interesting.
The God of Lightning not quite able to zap its way out. I was getting ready for that one. You know, I always love dropping me some of that zing, zing, zing references. But hey, either way, GODSENT, 1 kill is nice, 1 kill is insufficient. It is only stats on the board, and that board is looking pretty dry when you look at it in the grand scheme of things. 8-4 for Big Clan early on, with the CT economy still being somewhat questionable, with Crystal being on $1250. They still have a buy. I wouldn't say anything against that fact, but you are getting into dangerous territory. Big on their CT side are a wholly different beast when Surson is feeling confident, and after this performance so far, I don't know why he wouldn't be. Okay, so wow, they have really bad money. Never mind. I thought they were on 2,900 loss bonus.
Oh, why do we have to relive this moment? Surely this didn't make the highlight reel. I thought this one would just be swept under the rug.
Well, I mean, you hyped it up so much at that point. Michael, this is your fault in time.
Yeah, I guess so. Keto in the DMs afterwards. Why have you done this? Why have you even talked about it? Farlig, aggro middle. Like the position. There's the quick flick. That's a confident Farlig. That could bode well for GODSENT. Stiko close to the smoke with the MP9. Can't get it done. And Martin with the secondary orb springs through as well.
Talk AVP to me, and they are definitely chattering away. 8-4, and already such an advantage going the way of the CTs. This is great to see, especially because of the fast rotations. And Zen has come through, but Zen has gone down. The Deagle can't trade through the wall either. Martin now has to fight out with an AWP, and now a double op and an MP9 on a retake is the opposite of ideal. That's unideal. Crystal and Farlig now have to start aggressing forward, and Farlig has been punished. Crystal probably should have gone in first, but with the MP9 on range, it's probably not an easy duel to find regardless. Not a single loss once a 3v3 comes in, and it is all predicated off of Xantares' position and him being able to find the kill onto Zen. Zen had to win that, and when he doesn't, it just isn't enough.
Yeah, it started off well with the picks, and the Ops were finding trades, but yeah, Xantares' position just a little bit too impactful. Big, now shy of double digits. GODSENT never got their economy rolling on the CT side. It has been these awkward force buys, the half buys as well from GODSENT. Now Sirsen's eliminating angles with the AWP.
There is very important kill to find. That was one of the. That's always one of the only places where you can actually consistently try and find a kill with the Eagle over the Thunderclouds. But they get just too wary of it, man. Double digits right here. 9-4 looks to be 10, and GODSENT have shown us so many signs of being able to mount a comeback, but time and time again they falter when it is their strength. They falter when they are in a position to win, when they are in a position to punish. And that's not what you want to see. I'm okay with GODSENT losing out because their protocols aren't fine. I'm okay with them making mistakes because they're not familiar with the map. I know they don't practice it that much. But so far, I wouldn't say this has entirely been down to that.
Yeah, they've really been punishing Big on the defaults as well. We saw how many rounds they've pushed through Palace, and they've gotten so much information, so they get into some really strong winning positions, like you said. But Big have been able to get solid entries when, even with, in spite of losing some Palace control, in spite of there being a lack of a presence outside A, GODSENT just aren't able to adapt off that information fast enough, and it has come down to some of these more, like, sort of closer 3v3s or 3v2s. Like, GODSENT haven't been able to win out.
Well, This is the big round 5 and 4. There is a world of difference. We talked about this with Saw. We'll talk about this with GODSENT. 5 rounds is an entirely different beast. You can win a pistol round and you're right back into it. 4, not so much. And Big realized that just as well as anyone else. So far, tabseN's actually been kind of quiet on the scoreboard. He's not needed to perform. So you know that an extra gear is still present for Big should they desire to turn it up a notch. And that's something to be scared of if you're on the GODSENT side. Crystal, the one with the AWP.
Yeah, the AWP for GODSENT does certainly change hands frequently.
Yeah.
We know that that is a dynamic part of their game plan, but and it also comes with its criticisms. Crystal, though, he's pushed so far up, and Tizian has no idea. Keto there to trade very effectively. That may have been the bomb spotted out, and Zen gets that at his disposal. tabseN, though, looking to siphon off the rotation. Oh, the missed shot from Searson. That could have cascaded this round out of control here for GODSENT, but it's still a recovery mission. Zen eventually taken down, but that flank from tabseN not realized as Madden makes sure to keep hold of that B site.
Still a 2 versus 2 and the bomb's been recovered. Big are in a great position. Utility is even not bad for them. That one smoke can be a huge difference maker in a post-plant situation. Smoking of CT, smoking of connector, hell, even forget post-plant, even getting onto the site. It'd be a completely different story. 30 seconds though. And the question is, does Tico take this play? He's playing from the top of Ticket Booth, or at least on the side of it. He can get up there if he wants to. But right here, Big choose to path over stairs, and Tico peeks out. That could be a big mistake. He hears them coming in. He hears the bomb being planted. Tico's just waiting, and now he'll go for a bit of a spray, but Xantares just uses the information to back off and now face back towards A main. Tico has Martin coming over, but Xantares, what a shot from him, and he'll try to go in for a second. However, he's been dinked up on his own and backs off. The flashbang will not affect him, and Xantares knows, and Martin has to move into him, and Xantares just makes it work. 11-4. Big are dominating off the back of one Turkish beast, and we'll be back with some more Turkish delights after a short break. Stay tuned for some more Counter-Strike action. And we're back. It's big versus GODSENT. It's time to see whether GODSENT has it in them to start to recover things. Keto playing from CT. Michael Yumi Cassidy speaking from right next to me. Positions can be weird when you're talking about casters, but Keto's aim is not going to be coming back for him. Seiko still moving in, covering the rest of his teammates from Palace. The initial contact has been made, and GODSENT's rotations are... Well, GODSENT has had rotations forced out against them, but Keto's still gone down. With that goes CT spawn. Martin's fighting away next to the smoke. They're trying to locate the player who's playing around it, but Zen on the back lines is coming. He's coming in. Xantares will be caught off. Xantares could be going down. Xantares, however, is going to turn around and find that kill. Beautiful stuff to come through. Tizian also finding a way, doing what he can, but Tizian will instead take down Farlig, and he's left in the 1v2. Bomb not planted, and Tizian is just connecting beautifully. Martin on the other side. Can he find anything? The one-on-one, Martin might just have the advantage of it here, and he will be able to run away with it. So close and yet so far.
Yeah, that gets worrying for GODSENT. They have that idea of pushing jungle immediately off the back of those smokes, and they accomplish that goal primarily. Keto committing out of CT spawn to make sure that his teammates have a little bit more room. There might be GODSENT players fighting back, thinking about the site instead of committing to the jungle phase. And GODSENT, in the midst of all that chaos, never got the bomb down, so it gets really dicey. That 1v1 certainly feasible for Tizian, but it just falls out of his hands. So that pistol round being taken by GODSENT does allow them the potential for easier rounds ahead. Martin, kill towards top connector, Tabson gone.
And well, the flashbang even goes forward. Martin and company clear out the ladder room. Very important to do that. Big really like to put a player there. Sometimes it's Tabson, sometimes it's Surson. Both very prolific from the angle. Martin, however, beautiful little tap comes in, and a second is there as well. Xantares will fall right next to him. It's a 4v2, but this Deagle is trying to find something through the smoke. Keto now left alone, 1-on-4, while Martin has taken over this round. 4 kills so far, and 5 is a possibility.
Yeah, Martin's been having a great Mirage for GODSENT. Hasn't always resulted in round wins, but this one has been dialed in. 1-on-4 for Keto. Does not bode well. Holding onto the armor, the Deke for the following round will, of course, be where his objectives lie. It shouldn't be as if GODSENT will be too interested in hunting this weapon down. Of course, we can still see Stiko maneuvering around. Keto, quick adjustment to the head, so the low HP of Stiko doesn't really factor into the fight. I mean, losing more rifles here for GODSENT, that's unideal, and they'll dodge out from that. Farlig flanking top middle.
And this will be 7-11 for GODSENT. Very good start to come through for them. They persevere against what is sometimes called the most difficult round, because realistically, let's be honest, who even knows against Deagles anymore? Yeah. GODSENT themselves won around in the first half, and then Big won around in the first half, and it seems like everyone's winning around with Deagles, except for me. Come on, guys. Let me have some of that goodness, too.
What's the secret?
Just stand still for a while for me. Why don't you? However, Xantares to pluck out a player from mid-air. Stiko will go down, but he's been caught out. The Molotov forces it backwards. Crystal and Martin will be finding the entry kills onto the A-bomb side. And despite Xantares finding a nice kill, this will still be a clean enough round.
Yeah, never getting their hands on any of those fallen rifles. I think they should have the idea that Tabson's there. I think he made a step. Farlig didn't quite get that communicated over to him, but he still finds the kill. Martin's on 20 kills for GODSENT as they start to bring the rounds ever closer. Of course, Big now investing into rifles. We'll see Searson on the AWP. There, finally invested in Keto on the secondary AWP. The typical A-sided AWP for Big as well. Of course, that does mean that they skimp out on some utility and the potential for a bonus. Ooh, they almost lose one of those AWPs to start off the round because Farley gets aggressive.
Always dangerous when you have a good spawn on the T side, AWP. Farlig, I like that he's willing to use it. More and more operators don't go for that at this point. More and more operators don't even buy an AWP on Mirage T side. So I'm always happy to see something on those lines. Stiko now will be put to the test over in Palace. He's waiting for them to start pushing forward. Could maybe find something. Beautiful stuff with the Galil. Quick shot from him. And now Keto will try to respawn. He scopes forward, but he's decided against it. Seiko gets the information and realizes that he has had his opponent back off away from him. And gets himself a free M4A4. Why not? Meanwhile, Zantares over in mid. Could be aggressed upon. Crystal and company, trucking utility over. They're going to start to move through. Martin and Crystal to lead the charge. Crystal will not go in first. Actually, does go in first with the MAC-10. Beautiful stuff right there. And now it's a 2 versus 4 for Big. They'll have to say.
Yeah, how do you fight against that peak if you're Zantares? Topside connector, holding the headshot angle, flying through the air is Crystal with a MAC-10. The additional mobility, of course, we talk about head armor being a crucial factor against SMGs all the time. The MP9, the MAC-10 serve similar roles in that you can jump into peaks. If they don't have head armor, it's just as lethal as a rifle, if not more so.
Well, will be Tizian to find one at the very least, and he'll go for a little bit more once the smoke blooms, but the question is, does GODSENT continue to pursue inside? They don't really have too much of an issue as far as their economy is concerned, but it is going to be Martin to go down to the bomb, interestingly enough, of all things. 8 to 11, great place to be if you are GODSENT, considering that Big doesn't have much money either, so suddenly the comeback is very much a possibility, maybe even a probability at this stage. GODSENT, their T side has looked sharp so far. The last time they played this map, I believe, was against Ents. And that was when they had an 11-4 CT side and they had, I think, 1 round on their terrorist side. This time, though, it's been a very different affair. They've been very good over here on the other side.
Oh, the contact play towards A. Saracen's been taken out. Martin so far progressed, and they had no idea. GODSENT taking a different stance in the round. No utility that backs those players up, and Big are caught completely off guard. Crystal may even find a parting gift. Oh, the shot's missed as a player just jumps out of his sight. Big will do well to hold on to these weapons if possible, but I don't think they'll be given the chance. Zantares, other side of the smoke, Zen still close to it, and Zantares caught looking the wrong way.
Did he just try to throw a gun on top of it? Can you do that? Sorry, I think I might be looking at slightly different. Yeah, no, I'm looking at... Yeah, I'm watching from GoTV, so it showed me something slightly different. But Tizian does find himself a kill at the very least. That's always nice to have. So what I was confused about was a player inside Palace tried to chuck a gun over to the 2nd floor of Palace, and I wasn't sure if that was possible.
Huh.
It's interesting. Did you know Palace had a 2nd floor?
Yes, I did. No, I think we have discussed this before. I know
Probably.
that's the one of those CS trivia things that lots of people go, "Whoa, my mind's been blown. I never looked up before."
Yeah. Well, you got to no-clip around a lot in the maps when you're waiting for a cast to start.
True.
Flashbang lined up from Crystal, but not thrown yet. Serson is trained onto the angle. Farlig right around the corner for him. Could be a very difficult peak to go for. Crystal and company lining up just a bit. Serson has to be careful, otherwise could just end up being double swept. And Farlig's got himself a beautiful little shot. Zantares on top of the bricks is just intercepting bullets. Unfortunately, he's not a very good bodyguard.
Oh, the leg for Keto as well. But Big have to save. This A site has been a liability. GODSENT are bullying them, especially if Farley's able to get fast entries like that. Martin, who else? The aggressive man for GODSENT on the hunt, but Tabson will make sure that that's a short-lived venture.
That was a very cool boost coming out, though. If I'm not sure if you noticed that, but the reason why he was able to get both of those kills was actually because the boost gives them a lot more access to the bricks player, as well as giving him the ability to maybe dodge out a shot from Serson immediately. So really nice stuff. GODSENT is one of those teams that does come through with these very small little micro plays. I believe Crystal was one of the first players to ever actually properly perfect the silent jump on Nuke as well. So, you know, if there's a team that can bring out something interesting, something new, something cool, I would generally say GODSENT is a good candidate for it.
A tactical, yeah.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate the space to talk. I'm just saying that this is a lot of this comes down to the difference between GODSENT as a more old school team in the sense that they don't have as many events to go to. So they have a lot more time to prepare, to find these small things, to find these angles, to work them out. And it's just awesome to see.
Yeah, and we're seeing some development from their T size as well. They're really making it difficult for Big to get a solid read, and I suppose it can be even more so difficult if they're not finding kills on the defensive end. GODSENT throwing in some contact play, something that is certainly underestimated in top tier play. Of course, it can be a bit of a gamble to go for, but when it works, it really does show. They've rotated the positions around a little bit. We saw Keto over towards B with the ult last round. In fact, he's peering in for a peek in middle at the moment with his AWP, but this high tension moment in the apartments was taking a lot of our attention.
I mean, so far we haven't actually seen much of a GODSENT play towards that B bomb slide, and this would be an interesting time to start changing it up. Unfortunately, Big might have gotten the read with 2.5 players on the B bomb side. Yes, I will always refer to that as half a player. Speaking of half a player, Tizian's been tagged down by the Molotov just a little bit. Not quite down to half, but even so, you can't be all too comfortable with a fire on your feet, even if it does just singe your souls.
Keto has to be very careful. The bench could present that angle on towards short. He does back himself away at the correct timing, so he's not going to fall victim to that. tabseN does hear the presence that GODSENT are throwing through middle. No boost going to be threatened as of yet. A lot of time being bled off the clock as well. 35 seconds to make their way into the site, and A seems to be the target. Farlig holding the ult on towards top connector, and tabseN falls victim. Zentares, though, good initiative. He does still threaten another angle that needs to be cracked into this A site.
Keto still has the AWP though, and Big have fighting back the worst possible way for GODSENT. Zentares, with the help of a flashbang, will peek outwards with a stolen AK-47, and that is such a lovely round from Zentares because continually he was just playing from scaffolding, and he realizes when tabseN is smoked off, that's exactly when he has time to start pressuring inside Palace before the T-side players can actually come through connected to support their Palace player. That's why Zentares peeks in, he gets an eye line onto Seiko, and then when he's pressured, instead of trying to fight back and being caught in a pincer, he just moves forward and takes down Seiko. And with Seiko down, you can't do anything about Keto over in short. A missed shot though early on means that Big will not be given a free advantage. However, they have not been equalized upon just yet.
I mean, he has to know that Crystal's there. Smoke on the other side. Oh, Keto fancying the peak, and he finds it. 46 HP remains on him, and they are moving faster towards the B side. Zentares is locking things down for now. Tizian even moving towards Van, but the Molotov does deter him ever slight. Oh, this from Zen. He bypasses Searson altogether, and the flank on B is looking deadly.
Zen could be everything at this point. He knows exactly what's going on. 3-on-5 or not, make no mistake, this is an advantage for GODSENT. Zen gets one, Zen gets two, and Martin has been given free entry onto this site. Searson just wondering, where did it all go wrong? How did he get here? How did he not kill me in the meanwhile? And Zen, with that one smoke, he's locked away all the CTs. There's no way for them to come on. tabseN doesn't even have a gap in the smoke that he's so desperately looking for. Zen will hear him, Zen will see him, Zen will fell him down and under. With 2 AWPs left, all you can do with Big is save, but Keto has something else on his mind, and so does Searson. Unfortunately, one of those has died, and the other is not long for the world, and Keto will go down. Zen, what an ace.
It is so well played. The trigger discipline on the first makes sure to just bypass Searson. They had absolutely no idea that that was a possibility. They thought they plugged the hole that could have developed. It was a solid hold to start, but this play from Zen, that's where it all goes wrong. First kill, second, lined up easily. And he even makes it difficult on the rotations. What a play from Zen, and that's really going to weigh on the minds of Big.
Oh, look at Tizian. So much space gained, actually, within the map. It's all the way through apartments. They have full control over it, but you're right. Zen steals away around that by all rights should have been Biggs when they're up 5 versus 3, but an ace will generally help out. That's what I've heard. I mean, someone told me that at least.
Yeah, the numbers seem to back that point up. Can't argue against it.
Just kill 5 people. Rule number 1 of winning 3v5s. Tizian, no, he might have to start killing a couple of people on his own as well. GODSENT inevitably coming through, but the flashbang is too good. It's overwhelmed. Xantares mollies outwards, and it will be smoked out immediately. Farley creeps in, but Farley crept out of the server. Crystal will trade, but he's been tagged up as well. Somehow turns around with 1 HP. Crystal has found the kill. 2 AWPs are on the side. These same players have to try and recover, but it can't be done. Keto, 1v3. And this is going to be the 12th round for GODSENT. At this rate, Keto misses another chance, can't get the shot. Crystal's coming in from behind. He's not done yet. He sees the ace of Zen and he says, you know what? I can get a highlight too, guys. Come on. I don't have to buy a kit every time at the best round. Crystal coming in from behind finishes them off. And that's a 12-12 equalization. What a way to do it. Crystal, that second kill was insane.
I cannot believe he's gotten away with that. He's jumping desperately for his life. When he lands, he hits the shot. One more bullet. That's all it would have taken. Someone breathe on him, please, because he goes unchecked. He gets 2 more kills off the back of that initial short shot that he hit. You can understand the timeout.
Michael, it's still, you know, the coronavirus is still a thing. I don't think like breathing on someone is an idle threat. But
give this man some kind of a debuff or poison effect or something.
Give him a handicap, man, at this point. We thought his aim was bad and his brain was big. Why does he have both? That's not fair.
You have to make a compromise.
Yeah, I mean, we thought Glaive broke the system, but apparently Crystal's done the same. However, Big have not really broken the bank in this round at the very least. They've got a couple of flashes to try and move inwards to the A main area, but are they going to use them? Or are they just waiting for GODSENT to make a push outwards and onwards? Crystal setting up for some smokes, and they've pushed inwards. They've found themselves a few important kills, but Stiko and Farlig have traded back. Crystal to do the same. Winning just 2 on that CT side. 3 versus 2. Can they maybe get a couple deagle kills? Tizian has been looking spicy so far.
The timing for tabseN could be everything. He's had a shy game so far. Close he'll go. The shadow would have given Madden up, but he's still just not going to land the shot. Madden trained like a hawk. And Tizian's on the other side. He has to make a long rotation in. These lurking plays from GODSENT have been something they've had to be worried about throughout this entire half, so the rotation is slow. Madden just finds the timing. As soon as Tizian goes through the hole, Madden will put a hole in his skull. 13 for GODSENT. They have overtaken Big. This T side looking really dangerous.
And so far, the double up from Big have not really been giving a stopping power that they need either. The person who's really missing from the scoreboard has to be tabseN. 6 and 19. Yeah. That's not a pretty scoreline. I talked about how they're not in the 5th gear at this point. Car might have broken down, guys, and well, syrsoN finds 1 and is not traded away despite an attempt from Farlig. It will not be capitalized upon. Xantares now from short. Can he find a player on bench? It doesn't seem like he'll have the opportunity. Zen's moved past the smoke and into the A-bomb site. There is still tabseN to deal with underneath the palace area, but he's gone down already. syrsoN now sole defender of the A-bomb site. Maybe, just maybe, Tizian and Xantares from short can assist a little bit, but syrsoN will start to creep forward. Try to find anyone. Farlig's connected onto Tizian, taking him down. Xantares to trade, but Xantares to fall. syrsoN finds 1, trapped away inside CT, knows that Zen is watching him. Stiko's got a nade and a Molotov that'll be flushing him out. Zen finds a kill, back to a 2v1. All down to Keto. Flashed up, so he has been delayed. The Molotov behind him forces him forward. He tries to find, almost does. Stiko's been brought down low, but Stiko will still go for the bomb front. When it's a reload, they catch him off. 14-12. GODSENT yet to lose only 1 round. Only 1 single round win coming up from Big on their CT side.
Jeez, that's a worrying stat to have. Well, it's 10-1. in terms of the score. We thought the half looked dire coming into it for GODSENT Big. Started with 11. The CT side has been riddled with holes, these small timing windows that GODSENT have punished for time and again. Just Eags brought into the round this time around. They've got some utility. They can delay. GODSENT just feel like they've got a ride of momentum, so much strength behind them. You've got confidence brimming off of players like Zen and Mad in particular. Well, we've even had really high impact rounds from Crystal, somebody we don't highlight too often for the fragging.
Michael is getting to that territory. He's getting to that point. Big is sweating. They know they need a victory. They know they need to find some deagle shots. Keto from behind triple looking to face out, but he's been flushed out instead. Finds one nonetheless. Martin to respawn immediately. Zen trying to find some frags through the smoke is unsuccessful, but a lot of damage coming out from the CT side, and Tizian is on the flank that he loves to go for. Can he find them though? With their backs turned. He's the one with the kit. Tizian could make a difference. Serson as well creeping forward. Farley in the meanwhile has found one. Tizian will do the same. Important kill. Serson creeps forward. Farley will want to peek out towards Antares. Great kill from Serson. Tizian does the same again. Still with the AK. Now Farley's in a 1v3. Big. Is this how you start to win your round out? Big. Tizian will be able to peek out again. Farley's trying to find him. Farley's trying to do anything, but it's just not possible. 13th on the board for Big, and they will not let GODSENT get map point.
Oh, it's the eco that finally breaks another round through for Big. I think the biggest question has to be, can they do it on rifles? You're far more likely to be aggressive with pistols. Can you deny that same level of space, be as mobile in your peaks, or is this going to be just another blip on the radar? Searson peeking aggressively with the AWP. They want to take some ramp control away from GODSENT to start things off. Zantares, ooh, timing on Madden as well. He doesn't clear it, so that's a freebie for Zantares.
Well, Searson will find another one as well, so suddenly Big looks to be in a great position to go for a good old 15-13. It's okay, Crystal. You've already had your 4K. It seems like you've used up your mechanics for the day. Now 5 versus 2. Drums all the way back in T-Squad as well. Zen just trying to do some damage. Will find a kill. And with that, he moves on. No ace to be had. Farley, I mean, I just don't think there's a way to clutch this one out.
Yeah, if you thought the 1v3 post plant was difficult, I now present to you this. 4 players to find. 1 close by. Oh, Searson's not checking for him. He's completely looked the wrong direction, half the time staring at a wall. And Farley has gone by uncleared. So they may think that it has to be a B-sided play, given where Farley was last seen.
I still do have a player over in the A side, and honestly, GODSENT are going to be kicking themselves after this game. The previous round I mean, this one was a little bit all over the place, but the previous round was just them not recognizing that Tizian loves to go for the flank. Tizian does this so many times. We saw this against FaceClan. We've seen this in the past against OG. We've seen this in the past against so many different teams. Farley will find himself the first kill at the very least. I don't know how likely it is he gets more, and with 5 seconds on the clock, his priority is saving and not dying after time. That would indeed be a catastrophe if it is one, but with that, as we all she wrote, Farley will not go down even if it gets dangerously close.
Yep, free kill here for Zantares. I was the most confused about why it seems Big are getting caught out by this faster connector play by GODSENT, because we've seen them have success with that so far in terms of flanking out, getting entries towards A. Sure, this time Crystal misses the shots, but there was still a chance for GODSENT to make that more and more competitive. Crystal connects there. He can at least establish control towards jungle, make it so that the A side can never feel comfortable from jungle or connector. Around that could have certainly spiraled out of control if you're Big, but hey, they hit the shots they needed to start. They got that early advantage, and missed shots from Crystal they'll happily take. Now we're into real crunch time. 14-14, all tied up. GODSENT They've done well to get so many rounds on this T side. Big are bringing it back now that they are threatened with the potential for 15. Knocking on the door of it themselves.
If there was ever a game destined for overtime, this would be it. However, fate has been cheated many times over. tabseN right now is looking to do it once again. He's sitting on 6 kills and 21 deaths. That is not ideal, but that is exactly where you want him to start stepping up. In all fairness, also could have said that in the past few rounds, but this is crunch time, like you said. Maybe the pressure is going to be enough to bring him out. Keto's tagged up early on. Keto and tabseN trying to fight away. tabseN drops down, finds one, but that's all he's good for. Seeker with a Molotov out towards jungle will keep rotations at bay if they were coming in, indeed. But Big's rotations are slow. GODSENT, however, have not got onto the bomb site just yet. Keto's been flashed away again. No one's pushed through the smoke though, so you know it's perfectly safe. Keto continues moving inwards. Martin, right around the corner behind Palace, is going to be able to deal a lot of damage to them while a tag comes in. Zen has been brought down very low. No flank this time over, but they are still wary of him. Martin to find a quick one. That's Keto to fall. Tizian still trying to fight back. Stiko coming in from behind. Will be able to clean them up beautifully. And Tizian left in a 1v4. GODSENT have trapped him in between a rock and a hard place. There's no way Tizian can get away here. There's no way he can save. All he can do is try and go for this. Does he have time? It doesn't look like he will. He's backed off and Zen will finish him off. 15 to 14. GODSENT do make it over towards map point.
Even though they had the chances, fantastic shot from Madden. This lineup for Stiko, that's what really nailed it in for GODSENT. They even had Zen going for the deep flank through the connector as well because he'd been tagged low by the AWP. Another angle that Big would have had to worry about had they actually broken through the defensive from GODSENT. Timeout called actually for GODSENT as they don't want to make a misstep here. It's Big scramble something together in their economy. They should have enough for rifles. There will be some compromises utility side. Of course, Saracen won't have a belt of it.
I'm surprised he goes for the Kevlar instead of the utility at this stage, though. But, I mean, this late into it, you do what your gut tells you to. On the bright side, they do at least have 2 sets of kits. GODSENT. The train goes over towards the B-bomb site. Crystal's the only one left over to lurk inside middle, but it seems like this train has been diverted. The railway leads back to mid. It is underground and undercover. Can GODSENT find anything? Big in the meanwhile, half push through into A main as well, though. This could be very big. This could be enormous. Xantares playing around the corner. This is such a deadly position to be in. But if he starts to peek forward, this would be a dangerous one to go for. He knows he needs information, but is it worth the price? Saracen jumping up, spots out no one, and with that, Stiko might be able to just creep in with the timing. Sarsen's looked away. Stiko creeping up towards connector, but tabseN should be able to molly this one away. Zan, in the meanwhile, inside middle, will be having a nice little date with Xantares, but who will face off against who is the question at this point. CT is still trying to retake some control of a shot. Zen waiting for the push to come in. He is so certain. He's so certain that it'll inevitably come. But now he has to make a move. 38 seconds on the clock. Stiko's also crept through. Flashbangs are in apartments. They're using whatever utility they can to try and force them away. Xantares has to go for this peak soon enough. Who goes for it? Zen is so patient so far, but Xantares comes out on top, and he'll come in with another one. Big's not out of it yet. Overtime is calling, and Xantares will answer.
That's it. That's the round. Farling 1 versus 4. No time left. They're going for just jumping at him. They know he has no hope. Xantares plays that perfectly towards the end. We're going into overtime. We're going to have to take a short break before we get there. This is really spicing up.
Never like up with a slow motion crew, and we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same.
Yeah, if you've got some sort of pocket strategy, if you've got some sort of new play that you've got in mind, this is the time to pull it out. You don't have the weapons, you don't have the chance to win just on the individual duels. We're already seeing that. Device gets the first. Look out in the smoke. Oh my god, Device is still sitting here. They don't know how close they are. They just touch it in the smoke, but Device is the one who comes away with it. 2 kills for him, and only 3 more needed for Astralis to take every single 2 round in this second OP.
Yeah, this is going to be a 21-16 scoreline of Astralis to close these final 2 kills. And this looking locked in now. It's just for and he'll go down 21-14. Astralis that keeps edging these rounds out. And now, if you're heroic, well, this would be just unbelievable if they're able to. Does heroic look to finish on this ace time?
Ooh, flash through, but Tessus gets the first kill. 1-for-1 trade, but Device is still here, and this angle is so strong for him. 2 kills for Device, playing this same position, and Heroic completely denied. Device with the 3K, and Tessus needs the ace. Surely he can't get it. He gets another headshot, but Dupree arrives with that secondary AWP, and Device is dishing out the damage on that A side.
I said it, he was a little bit quiet and unimpactful for most of this game, right? Then he's just had this resurgence on the CT half. On this A bomb site, as soon as he gets in that spot, he has just been unstoppable. There's been so many rounds where he's just found multi-kills over and over again, and they win the double ops.